Okay, people, how we doing out there? First things first. My name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Blackstreet Edition LLC, Crystal Edge Technology Screens, and this is our what am I name it for? Oh, Cardboard PC Kingdom. I thought it was a pretty cool name. I like it. But anyway, um, we are basically building a gaming company for displaying our gaming technology and projection screens and all this cool stuff that I want to do. And I got into building these cardboard PCs out of cardboard. That right there is running a new motherboard because for some reason we were having issues with the motherboard. Let me disconnect this. We had issues with the motherboard. For some reason, it just wouldn't run right for Jack. At first, I thought it was the kill switches that were having issues. I still don't trust the kill switches because they are a bit really jinky. Like, they weren't built right at all, period. So, wasn't happy with those. I kind of like these better. And we're going to go with these instead. Now, I'm not going to, the ecosystem, I'm going to build that later on, but I want to work on this one. I like this one. I don't know, I like that one better than the ecosystem. Ecosystem, I can build always later on. I got no problem with that. But I do want to build this one. I'm liking this one right here. That whole thundercloud effect on display, that I definitely want to do. That would be that one right over there. That's the new one I'm working on. So these PCs were made completely out of cardboard. Didn't cost a lot of money. It only ran me around roughly about whatever it cost to put it together. Velcro, we're going to get really into it. Velcro was probably around $2 for Velcro. The glue was around $1, and of course the boxes were free, and the other tape we got for the labels, they were all free. So pretty much like under $5. We're going to be fair here. Let's say under $7. And add that tax in there, so definitely under $7. But yeah, I like the new one we have right here, which I'm definitely going to invest more time in the building on that one. These are not done yet. They're still a work in progress. We still have hardware swap out. We still got the doors to put on this one over here. Here's going to require the doors for the freezer unit. We still got 2 ports to put on the side for 80 millimeters. We haven't got done doing that yet. Let me see. We got to change out the graphic card. We want the 3050s in there. And we definitely want to change out to the 3770s, the i7s. I got to get those in. I got a nice price on a bulk of those on eBay. We're going to put a readout gauge here that's going to show temperature control right here. They fit over the top of that. And let's see. We're going to put some ice cream in there and some frozen pizzas in there. This is all going to be done in silver because like I say, you can see right through there. It's going to be done in silver. In the back, we got another fan to put here, another port here to put a fan here. This has to go into a case. So we're going to turn this into an ice machine on this side, but over here we're going to basically right here we're going to put another case here for the fan to fit between here and here with no problem. Let's go over here to the side on this unit right here. This is one we're working on. I'm definitely going to be changing the color of my fan to like sky blue because this one's actually red. I like the way it looks on this one. This is our customized repaint job for our power supply. 2 duct systems right here that leads to the cooling systems we have there, so the air pushes out through here, but we want to put another fan on here, intake to push out there even faster. I can wait for the air right there. Another outtake fan here that goes to the motherboard over there. Now this cord is supposed to feed through here and come out here, but we want to do something special with the cord, so I'm not ready to put it through there yet. See? So each one of these are all designed differently. Power supply sitting there. So on that one. And then up front we have hard drive is on here. Nice hard drive fan. We made our own hard drive coolers right here. We're going to be changing this out to 3050s going on this one. And we're going to be adding in 3770 for the i7 for this. Need to add in a paint job for that right there. Get that done so that's all coated and everything blends together. This is the one right here. I was going to do the Eco. I'm still going to do the ecosystem, but I like the thundercloud effect. I love the thunderclouds effects where you just have thunder and electricity pushing all over the place. So we got the stand a little different here. This one lays flat. This one I wanted to levitate because this one is actually floating. So we're going to cover all this. You won't see any of this. It's going to be nothing but one big cloud system here. Some of the clouds are going to feed up here. It's going to feed around here and here and here. And you can see lightning shooting up all through the screen. We want it so it's a slow build. It's powering up here, and it slowly just sharply transfers in certain areas. In other areas, it just builds up and just shoots off. That's how we're going to do the lighting system all around here, all around this. We already got our motherboard screws. In this case, I showed you how to easy build one really quick, really fast. And this is the final result. So basically, the final build. Not final build, but actually the structured build. And when you put that paint on it, it hardens the surface nicely. So yeah, this is going to be a really beautiful build. That's nice and sturdy, but still, I'm going to put some pegs in here, clear pegs in there and there, so you can't see it, to give it that levitation look to it. So this is going to look pretty cool when we get done with it. And this is the motherboard that died on us. Again, this is the new motherboard I just ordered. And this one, surprisingly, this is a micro ATX because, sorry, a micro ITX, because on here I measured the board for a micro ITX, and that's a micro ITX. It fit on there perfectly. And if it did, that means this one also too is a micro ITX. Those screws are set for micro ITX. I think they're all micro ITXs in here, which is fantastic. I love it. So I'm just going to put this dummy board up there for the time being, and the RAM up there, you know, just to give me an idea what we're working with. And then we're going to operate our liquid cooling system and all that stuff. Power supply is going to fit at the top like this one over here. It's going to feed everything down, wires and cables. And I do want to loop the cables around like we're going to do one over here. We're going to take these USBs, we're going to trace it around, glue it in so it looks like actually it's being charged at the same time. But we need about a couple of those, and I want to use on my USB ports, so we're basically going to be using a USB splitter for those. Yeah, I had to come in and take out the board and swap it out for the other one. I am so glad I know how to do this stuff, because man, it's not hard to do. It's really easy. I wanted to show on camera, but I was like, you know, I'm just going to get this thing done. There we go. Now I'm still going to build the fishbowl. I'm going to build the PC itself, not with all the stuff in it, but I'm going to basically finish it off and paint it and everything. So all I have to do is just put the stuff in it when I want to. I got plenty of room in there, but I just want to case and have the case done. But this one, I like that whole thundercloud build up on it, so that we definitely got to do that. I knew these things were off when I was putting these things in. There we go. Alright, so this already has everything pre-cut into it. If I'm going to basically build a case, I'm going to basically do all this pre-cut, put in the tubing so that looks more professional, finish off the paint job. Actually, tubing goes in glass, so you don't want to jack that up with the paint job. Or actually paint over it by accident. Hook everything up and then throw a power supply in there, kill switch button, you put in there yourself, and that runs right over there. We still got wire management with this. We're not done yet. All this stuff has to disappear. So we're going to do wire management. This one's actually much more, a little better than that one. But I do want these lines to hang out because I do want them to give off that more of out of control look to it. Nothing wrong with having a little chaos in it and all. And this stuff all glows. It's a glow in the dark solution on all this. All that glows. There's a glow in the dark on there. Same thing like this one. It all glows. So what we're going to do with this one, this is going to be interesting how we do this one. This one we needed to have the lights down, not too bright, because I need that thundercloud to be overpowering. And we don't want it where we're going to have it where we're going to have the thundercloud like light up. We're going to shut down in certain areas to be dark and just flicker and then just channel all the way up again. So that's going to be interesting to do this one. So this whole base, So one big cloud, like it's floating on a cloud. And for those again, if you're saying that, well, you can't use cotton and electricity, that's static electricity going to short out your board. No, not really. Use something called anti-static spray. So the same thing like when you walk, you get your clothes and stuff sticking to your clothes, you spray it and it kills it. That's what you do. So if we had to soak it in this stuff, I want to make sure 100% we're not going to have any problems. But it should go quite well. Yep. Bum, 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 bum. And that was the whole purpose of building these things for the new company. Because again, if I'm going to be showing off like gaming technology we're working on, I sure enough want to show off some nice, cool props to go with it. Some cardboard PCs, and the cardboard PCs took off because everyone we showed them off to, they wanted to buy one. I'm like, how do you get them? How do you order them? Where are you going to be selling them at? And I'm thinking, oh shoot, we got a whole nother section we got to start thinking about now. How are we going to basically do this and everything else we got involved? I'm definitely going to have to bring people on board. Whew. Oh, by the way, lighting system for this one's not done. So RGB is going to be for RGB heat spreaders for the RGB heat spreaders for the RAM. I thought about putting some on the pipe system, but I'm probably going to do that for the liquid cooling system. Definitely going to do that. But the fans here and the fans in the back, I don't want them to be RGB. I don't want too much. I don't want to be too busy. So these are nice right here. So I'm going to try 2 fans in the back, just like the ones we had in the front, because I don't want it to be too busy. And then we're going to do a trace. It's going to be a laser trace that's going to trace everything out nicely all the way around it, so all that glows it traces. So now we got this thunder system. We're going to call this the Thunder Box. Ice box, Thunder box, Party box. I guess we can call it Party box since it lights up so much. Call it the Party box because the speakers are synchronized. I got them synchronized to the sound on the motherboard. So yeah. Okay, let me get this in here. Get this done. There's the board on it for right now. All right, where did you just go to? Oh, you went inside. Jeez. I know it's going to lose a bit, but when you add weight to it, they don't go anywhere. Gotta put them components in now. I have no idea why I'm doing this like this. If you need to lay everything down, that would be so much easier to do. Why is the screwdriver never on? Oh, why is it way over there? Yeah, those definitely fit perfectly. So like I said, this is a dummy board. This board is damaged. It is. Couldn't get it to work. Those are the kill switches at first. Wasn't the kill switches. Definitely is short on this board somewhere. So I would just put that for the time being. I'll just use that as my trace board because I'm using micro ITXs for now on. I'm not going to put any board. I love them. They're small. They're tiny. Gives us plenty of room. If I had an ATX board, it'd have been all the way down there. Came out much better. And this is all Velcromed in, by the way. It's all Velcromed in. Velcro holds beautifully, and you can pull it off when you want. I had to remove that twice because I didn't have it lined up right. And there's our ports. Ports want to trace out for this. There's our ports that come into here. Now, the only problem we have with this motherboard requires drivers, which we have right here. These were all plug in and play, but these require drivers. So since we don't have an optical drive on here, not a big deal. Go over to Amazon, pick up an optical drive. They're cheap because, again, they're not really in demand anymore, so they're very cheap to get. I can get one that runs by USB, but sometimes the USBs don't read correctly, especially if you're trying to put in the motherboard's drivers. The USB is the worst thing to use because it's not going to pick up because the USBs don't work. And you use the driver. So you have to use SATA to your SATA power to SATA data cable. That's what you have to do. We have them right there. That's the SATA data cables, and we got SATA outputs right here. So all we have to do is get a nice little stand, set up the optical drive, put the disk in. System basically loads in the drivers. Once the drivers are done, we can disconnect all that and we're done. But when that's loaded up in there, I'm going to take a flash drive, plug it in. I'm going to download the program, the setup program, onto a flash drive, so I always have it. So if I ever run to the board again, which I'm probably going to buy again, I just slap in that thumb drive and go from there. Hopefully. If not, at least we got the drive here. We're good to go. Hopefully it does work. It works with, I don't know. But at least we got that component here. Because still, some people, these boards, usually when you get boards that are having the, well, most boards that have their plug-in and play. Both of these were. I was surprised to get drivers, but that was like, I got drivers, I got actual disc. Okay. Well, it's good to have, just in case. Which means you shouldn't really bet everything on digital, truthfully. You know what I mean? You should have that drive up there, because you never know. You never know. But then again, y'all not doing app. Okay, no, it's good for y'all. Because again, I'll tell you why. You're not doing software upgrades. That's why. You don't put no drivers in for your stuff to get it to run. Your stuff is already preloaded. You know, the update comes through, you update it, you're done. But you know what I mean, if you've got firmware, whatever, patches, whatever, you can do that. But this right here, you know, sometimes you're going to need that optical drive. But thank God they got them. Because guess how much my optical drive is costing me? $5. That's it. $5. DVD burner. Plays CD, of course. Plays Blu-ray. $5. Yep. Nothing really special about your drive. Not really, truthfully. It's just a drive. That's it. Just plays your games. That's it. Plays your games. That's all. Plays DVD movies on it. Plays CD on it, right? And they charge you $80 for that thing. That's outrageous. I think that's outrageous. That drive should be somewhere between roughly. It's a disc drive. Come on, they're cheap. You get those things for like $20. The most you pay is $20. You go cheap for like $10, $7, $8. How are they charging you for a drive? Oh, because it reads your games at the end of the day? No, it should never cost so much money. You really should have got that for us, say roughly, probably $35. And that's still too much money. I'd say probably $25, $26, $27, around that price. It's an optical drive. They're obsolete now. You can get them for super cheap. There's no way in the world you should be paying no $80 for that thing. What does that thing do besides that? You can't put software in your machine or none of that stuff, right? So again, I mean, this stuff right here, you know, read software and all this stuff. So with that being said, it should be cheap. That's crazy. That's highway robbery right there. I just thought about that too, because I haven't bought an optical drive in so long for a system. You know, I don't use them. And I go and check out one. I'm thinking like, well, if it was in demand and they were using them, it would be about $70, $80. That's what we would pay for one. That's what I paid for one back in the day when I got the DVD burner. And the Blu-ray on it was a little bit more. Blu-ray was like $120, $130. So that's understandable. But again, people are not using optical drives that much anymore. Because if you look at all the PCs they have today, there's no ports in there for an optical drive at all, period. So with that being said, then we really don't use them that much anymore. Because everything's downloadable now. And they're charging you $80. Well, technically not $80. It's actually higher than that. Because once they add in a tax on that thing, it's going to be more, a little bit more than that. Probably, well, that's kind of jacked up. Yeah, they're paying. You're paying too much for parts. And the stand, $35. Why is the stand costing you $35? That stand shouldn't cost you $35. That thing could cost you less than that. Does it light up or anything? Have any kind of digital display, USB ports you can plug in the back of it? Nothing. It's just a stand. There's no way in the world that thing should cost $35. You probably could build that for cheaper. You know, they didn't want too much for their parts. Consoles always been that way. Consoles always wanted too much for their parts. Too much for their parts. Heck, I paid for the adapter for the Xbox when it came out, because the Xbox came out, you had a CD-ROM on it, of course, but you couldn't play. You had a DVD-ROM on it, but you couldn't use the DVD-ROM without a special adapter. So you had to get this little port that would plug into the front, and they had a little remote control that had a little weird shape to it. If I find mine, I'll show you what it is. And you use that to play DVDs. I think that thing was like, let me look that up for a minute. I'm curious about that. But I have one. I had to buy one to play DVD movies on it, because they're like, hey, you can watch movies on it. Like, really? Okay, you gotta get an adapter for it. And that's why I said, if you're upset about the nickel and dime process, shoot, watch your feet, man. Got cables underneath me. If you're upset about the nickel and dime process, Gen Z, I hear from you guys the most. If you've been around in the Nintendo era, you should know. You definitely should know that one already. But Gen Z, it has not been in the Nintendo era at all, period. So they don't know the nickel and dime. Those who've been around since the Genesis, or you've been as a Sega Master, then you know. If you've been around since Atari 2600, you definitely should know. Because that's when they really started the nickel and dime process. Because before, when you got a game system, you got 4 ports from the door. 4 ports. And then they started changing it over to 2 ports. And then they come up with this adapter that you plug into the last port, which would be the second, to add in 2 more gamers. That would be a splitter, control splitter, that you would pay for. And they were like $60. Oh, I got to find my magazine. I got a magazine that shows all this stuff from back in the day, how much it cost. It's insane. But at that time, it wasn't really insane, because, that's just gaming. But now today, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, they've been doing the nickel and dime for years. There's people on there that will be complaining about the stand, paying for the stand. And I'm like, really? PS2 did that. The PS2 charged you for the stand. And even worse than that, I remember that in order to do online play, you had to basically buy a modem to play. Because it didn't come with modems at one point either. When the PlayStation first came out, PlayStation 2 came out, it didn't come with a modem. You had to buy the modem. So again, people complain about the sand, nickel and diamond. Like, man, y'all been getting nickel and dime for years, man. But, I hate to say it, I'm not saying all Gen Z, but the reason why you don't know, and it's not your fault you don't know, because you weren't around. So they can't say you're oblivious to basically knowing. I mean, you can Google it, but how would you know what to Google if you didn't know it actually existed at one point and it even happened? There you go. You got to give them credit on that. You can't say they're oblivious at the end of the day, because how are they going to know about something that they didn't even know existed? How do you begin to look that up? Someone had to tell them that, and they go, really? And they would look it up and go, oh, shoot, that's real. That's the only way. You got to educate people at the end of the day. That's how they know. No one goes to a classroom knowing everything. That's just some brainiac at the end of the day. Then you do know everything. But again, yeah, the nickel and diming process was going on for a while with PlayStation and Xbox. And I remember, if you remember SOCON, you ever had that game before? I did at SOCON. And that's the one you had the headsets that looked like the headsets with the earbuds plugged in the side, or microphone clipped onto your shirt. And they had an option on there, if you played it solo, because it's made to be played online, but if you played it solo, you could basically command the characters in the game. You can give them commands like stop, go, shoot, stuff like that. But it was mostly online gameplay. It was a big online gameplay, and you had to have the modem. But I remember buying the modem. Can you imagine it? Buying a game system with no modem on it? Yep. PlayStation 2 with the modem. Let's see if we can find the modem. Who has one? There you go. This is literally, if I can blow it up, where you can see what this looks like. So those of you from that era, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that right there, see that box on the side? That's your modem, so you can go online. And you see that bottom piece right there? That's the stand that you paid for. Because at the time, you know, it was a big feature that you could stand it up. So everybody wanted to stand theirs up and everybody to stand. There's a modem right there. So now people say, oh no, you know, that's not possible. It is. They did it. They literally launched the system with no modem on it. So you couldn't go online and play like you can do today. You had to pay for that separately. So again, like I said, it is kind of jacked up. You're going to pay for a disc at 80 bucks. But they've been doing this for a long time. Now the people aren't complaining. They've been around since this timeline, and they're used to the nickel and diamond process. But yeah, you paid for that modem. If you didn't play, then guess what? You didn't go online. And then that stand right there, paid for that stand too, because everybody wanted the vertical stand to stand their system up. And you paid for the stand too. It didn't come free in the box. Oh, the memory cards. Sheesh. Remember that era too. How much was the PS2 modem when it first came out? How much was the modem attachment for the PlayStation 2 when it came out? The network adapter. I can't remember the prices. It had to be roughly like 60 bucks. Maybe 60 bucks. Okay, no. They came out in 2001. That's when they came out in 2001, and they were roughly around $39, about 40 bucks. Yeah, $40 for it, for the attachment. How much was the stand for the PS2? Sony's vertical stand came in a box just like that. You bought it separately. So they've been doing that. That's nothing new. And people say, well, yeah. Well, the thing is about it is, what they're griping is at $700 for this system, you should have got that stand for free. Heck, why didn't they just... I mean, they've been giving you the freaking optical drive for free all this time. I understand they want to go digital at the end of the day, but you've got a lot of freaking physical disc. Like, it'd just been better if you just added it in there. Which, you know. But anyway, yeah, been a nickel and dime for the longest time. Game systems with 4 ports.
According to Wikipedia, Dreamcast and the original Xbox would follow the N64's example by including 4 controller ports as default as well, as did Nintendo's succeeding console, the GameCube. Despite this, the PlayStation 2 was released with only 2 controller ports like its predecessor, so a multi-tap was still produced for the console.
Multi-tap, that's what it was called. The multi-tap. Yeah, I remember that. Yep, so Xbox original did it. N64 had it. If you had N64, you know what I'm talking about, because you played Bond for days on that against people. And the GameCube had it, of course, because I have the GameCube. It has it on it, too. Dreamcast had it. But wait a minute. NES, that's not NES had 2 ports. NES had 2 ports. Yeah, NES had 2 ports. So you gotta go back a little farther than that, because NES had 2 ports when they came out. I know that for a fact. You got 2 controls with that. Sega Master System. Sega Master System had 2 ports. Yeah, Sega Master had 2 ports. You go back really, really far back. The Sega Master System had 2 ports on it, because I know I had one of those in storage. And it came with the light gun too. So I know they had it. TurboGrafx 16 had two ports. TurboGrafx 16 had two ports. No, TurboGrafx 16 had one. Oh, yes, that's right. They did have one port. They had one freaking port on there, and you had to buy the multi-tap player. Yeah, they had one port. I forgot about that. They had one port. One port on there. And you had to buy the multi-tap. Oh, man, that force ticked you off. You get, what? What are we going to play this with? Yeah, you had to pay for the multi-tap. I remember that. I forgot about they had one port. Jeez, when the system really had one port. I'm baffled about that. Why they only put one port on that thing to this day? Atari 2600. I know I had to have four ports. Atari 2600 had four ports. Atari had two. Oh, I had two. Oh, yeah. Because they weren't in the top. They weren't. The ports were in the top. They weren't in the top here and here. They had two of them. And they had a multi-tap too. Gee whiz, man. They were doing this for a while, man. The video game SOCON for PS2. Bam! Y'all remember this? Who remembers playing this on the PS2? SOCON. Yep. I had it when it first came out. I remember it. And then when I got it home, I was like, how the fuck is this game going online? Where's the more of it? And then found out I had to go buy the expansion pack for more than $40. I was ticked off. I was like, why didn't I just add it on here? Just. When the system first came out, it didn't have online support. That's why it wasn't on there. It didn't have online support. And later on, they brought out online support for it. The Dreamcast, when it came out, was 56K. But they bought a DSL modem later on, but at that time the system wasn't doing so well and it went belly up. So a DSL modem would have been really, really nice with it. And the Dreamcasts were basically, they were constantly updated because you were actually a subscriber to Dreamcast magazine. They had the disc in there, the browsers, to be able to update your browsers. Dreamcast browser update. Version 2.0. They were physical disc. See, this is what they look like. Oh man, the Dreamcast, man. I'm telling you, that would have been one of the most amazing systems I ever played. Because you could go online right from the door. It had a 56K modem built into it. You can hook it up to a Dreamcast keyboard and mouse. And it had a browser disc that came with it. And at that time, computers were like freaking crazy expensive. So the fact that a console system would allow you to surf the internet was a really big thing. They had this thing called SegaNet. We can actually download and listen to music. All that stuff, man. This is what it looked like in there. They had chat rooms, everything. And the memory cards, I would say, would have to be the best memory cards of all time. Because some people say, no, you have to understand. Dreamcast, 64 had that rumble pack that would vibrate and everything. They had a rumble pack too later on, but I think N64 is when it started. N64 had it before Sony had it. I had to look it up. I'm pretty sure they had it before them. But anyway, the SegaNet on the Dreamcast right here, oh man, it was amazing at the time, was that your memory card looked like a video game, looked like a little Game Boy. And the reason why, let me see. Original memory cards for the Dreamcast. Here we go. They made a couple of generics, but the one you wanted to get the one that looked like a little Game Boy. So that's the one, that's what they look like for there. So this kind of helps out people like Gen Z at the end of the day. Like I said, you want to talk about gaming and stuff with the gurus, this stuff right here, you'll find quite interesting. So you see, or anybody doesn't know, you see this right here? This plugs into your Dreamcast. When that plugs into your Dreamcast, you see all those little controls you have right here? You can download mini games off your game. So say you get a game like Power Stone. Power Stone had mini games that you can download onto your memory card, and you can take your memory card out the door and you can play games on it. Little mini games off of it, which was freaking sick. So actually it was like two game systems in one. And like say if you're online with SegaNet, like say you got a game like Marvel's versus Capcom and you can't beat certain bosses to be able to get unlocked characters, you can literally go into these sections where they had online and you can download other people's video games saved to your card. So maybe they might have beat the game and they put down, look, beat the game, unlocked everybody, unlocked everything. You can go in there, you can download, but you have to be careful. Some people had viruses on their systems, but still, all in all, it was pretty cool. So if you can't beat the game, you can't get those certain characters. Somebody already did it. You can actually go in with your memory card. You can download their memory card to your memory card, and then go in and play it on your game. Is that cool or what? Yep. And they had chat rooms in there and everything. The whole 9 yards. They had a sleep mode in there and everything. It was slept. You see a little guy pop up sleeping. It was pretty cool. Yeah, these were the original ones. That's what you wanted, the original ones. And later on, they came with these really big cards. But they didn't have the LED screens on. Just a little tiny watch battery you can pull off from the back. I just carry mine on all the time. Play games. I play Power Stone. Had mini games. So some of the games you would get had mini games for the memory card that you can go play. Just don't lose it, because all your saves are on it, and you'll be jacked. Jacked, I tell you, jacked. Yeah, those memory cards, man. I remember having memory cards for the PlayStation, memory cards. Oh, the 60, the GameCube's freaking memory cards were small, man. You would easily lose those things. They were tiny. Still pretty cool. Yeah, that's how tiny it was right there. You're playing. But you can see the screen pretty good. And they came in different colors. They came through see-through, stuff like that. And it would actually give you a readout. So when you're gaming on it, it becomes like Power Stone, where you're playing and you see the plane fly off into the distance and stuff. Little things will be going on the card as you're playing the game. Little things will pop up that interact with the game. It was pretty cool. They were ahead of their time. Dreamcast was literally ahead of its time. It was. I think people weren't ready to receive that kind of technology. PlayStation had these dual fighting sticks. I don't think I have one here. Really? PlayStation dual fighting stick controller. Just put down flight stick. There we go. These are fantastic for everything. Xbox original DVD. There you go. I told you. This is what you had to buy if you wanted to run through the original Xbox, which only had a 10 gig hard drive. Did you know that? But if you wanted to run your DVD players, your movies and stuff, there's no Blu-ray, just DVD. Then you plug this into your front, and then they have this, and you can actually watch movies off of it. Yeah, I had a 10 gig hard drive. I know. I took one apart and modified it. I had a 10 gig hard drive. I took it out and put one of those cases, the clear cases that they make for them. That's what I did. When I was inside, I looked at the hard drive. I was like, wow, it's 10 gigs. But you didn't really need that much power back then. I mean, your resolution was 480p. So, I mean, how much gaming power are you going to need for saves at 480p? Didn't require that much. But the games were actually pretty good on it. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, really good games on it. I love the Xbox system. I had the snowboard, I had the flight simulator stick, I had everything with the Xbox. I still have mine. I still have my Xbox. I still have my Xbox with around close to about 200 games with it. I have my system. I got GTA. Remember when GTA was only for PlayStation? Only. When GTA was only exclusive to PlayStation. See? That's actually true. Remember when GTA Grand Theft Auto was Sony exclusive? It was only for Sony ever. It never came to Xbox. I have this conversation all the time with people come like, no, it was always on Xbox. No, you're wrong. It wasn't always on Xbox. GTA, when it first came out, the first original one came out on Genesis because it was on cartridge first. It had that whole bird's eye view to it all. Grand Theft Auto on the Genesis system. There you go. That would be on the Genesis system. Rockstar had this game. Now, this is where the controversy first popped up about them banning the game. Because in the game, which is the bird's eye view version of it, basically, they consider it to be super violent because of the fact that you kill cops in the game. I know you do it in other games too. But anyway, you kill cops in the game. And they were talking about banning the game. The game was about to be banned. But somewhere they got around it. And guess what? They're alive today to have that right now. But at one point, they were going to ban them. And they even had it on the Game Boy Advance. They had it too. GTA, Grand Theft Auto was on here too. So what did it look like? Well, it looked like that. Because I had it on the Genesis system. And you had to show ID in order to get it. And I mean, dead serious, you literally had to show ID for that. But that's what it looked like. So you had Grand Theft Auto 2, and then when you got 3, big jump from here to what 3 looks like, right? Huge, massive jump. So Genesis had it. It was on PlayStation. Mind you, Xbox came in later on because PlayStation has been out before Xbox. When Xbox came up, it wasn't for Xbox. It was only exclusively at that point after Genesis. It was only exclusive for PlayStation only. That's it. And then later on, it ported over to the Xbox. The Xbox port was a, I got mine. I still have mine. It became like a little book, and on one side you had Grand Theft Auto 3, and the other side you had Vice City. When did Grand Theft Auto come to Xbox? So it came to Xbox in around 2003 to 2004, because I remember I bought it when it came out. And it looked like, let me see. Now you can get one or the other, but they have when you can get both of them together. So yeah, I had this conversation with somebody during time. No, it's always on Xbox. Like, good gracious, I swear if you don't crack a book. Yeah, no, it was never on Xbox. Never. It was only on PlayStation. Because I remember seeing it on PlayStation. I wasn't really a big fan of PlayStation at the time. There you go. That's what my cover looks like. Just like that. It's called the Double Pack. And the Double Pack, you got 2. You got the GTA, Vice City, and you got the Grand Theft Auto 3. That's what you got in the Double Pack. I still have mine. I still have it with the box. I still have everything intact with it. I'll bring it up one day. I can show you exactly. But yeah, I remember when it came out. And that's the first time I ever got a chance to play that game. Now, later on, we had, let me see. Yeah, I remember that, man. I never did San Andreas. I never did it. I never did San Andreas ever. I didn't play it. I wasn't I guess I wasn't taken by it. I just wasn't. I didn't. I liked it more with the Italians. That's why I liked it more. The more the Italians, I liked it. It felt more authentic to me, and that's why I didn't go in that direction. That's what it felt for me. It didn't catch my eye. The ones they did with the I forgot his name at the end of the day. They did with him was more. It was more fascinating, and the reason why is because the way they put the missions in. The missions were actually unbelievable. You know, you're on a bus and the bridge blows up. That's the reason why you can't go to the side because the bridge is not there. But you go to the side and you get this guy called 8 Ball, and he tells you he's got this connection with this guy. He, maybe get you some work at the end of the day. And 8 Ball walks in and meets up with this guy. Catches up with old business, and it's interesting because the bridge wasn't blown out because of them. There was a really high, I guess, cartel who was in there on the bus, and they were coming there for him to get him off the bus, and they all just broke out and just took off. But later on, like I said, you gotta evade the police and get the stars to go down. You gotta paint your car and get whatever, hide from the police. But when you meet the other guy, and the other guy who gives you the missions, I love that guy when he gives you the missions. He tells you to go out to the docks, and it's this guy out there serving smack to, your lady friends out there. Just be nice. We know what it is already, right? And he gives you the first weapon you get is a baseball bat. Then after you take him out, then you got to take the car and you got to take it to spray, pay and spray, and park it in his garage. And I was like, oh shoot, like these games are like this? So yeah, I was fascinated by it. The other one I like is the guy who basically he had to take his car and drive it down to this guy to put a bomb underneath of it. Sorry people, but that's what it is. Put a bomb underneath of it, and he had to park the car just right. Mind you, the bomb is actually ticking at the same time. Now you got to activate it, but the bomb is very sensitive, so you get this bar that comes up, and if you drop too low, your car will explode with you in it. So be really careful no one doesn't hit you or whatever while you're trying to get the car back to the restaurant to park it where it needs to be at perfectly. So when this guy comes up, he's assassinated. Freaking love that. I did. I do like I I did like how they did bum, 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 bum. GTA 4. GTA 4 was actually really good. It was really, really good. That was interesting. That was a really, really good one. I did like that one. And then when they got to GTA 5, playing with 3 characters at the same time, oh, that was epic. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I'll tell you something, they always outdo themselves every single time. I tell you one thing, Rockstar, Trevor needs his own game. Trevor is the most interesting character. Weird, crazy, psychotic, and all that. But yeah, he is GTA. Because GTA is pretty much everybody who's the character in GTA are borderline psychopaths. That's pretty much what they are. They're borderline psychopaths. But either way, Trevor must have been the most craziest character I have ever seen in my entire life. Trevor was nuts. You leave and go to another mission and come back to Trevor. Trevor would be in some of the most jacked up places you have ever seen in your entire life. Trevor needs his own video game, literally. They did that at one point with GTA. They did games like side missions where you're playing with a certain character and they'll go back and you get to play their mission on how they met you and how it all started. Like the same thing with the biker gang. You meet them, the guy you met him a couple of times, but then you go back and you become part of the biker gang. You're actually playing his life at the end of the day. They need to do one where you can play Trevor's life. Like you'll see these guys in the game. You'll meet up with them and talk with them, but you're Trevor. And I liked how GTA did that. GTA did these DLCs where, you bump into this character, you talk with them, you do business, right? But in the next mission, the next DLC, you are that person. And you're having a conversation with the person you were when you played the game the last time. Oh, I thought that was freaking amazing. But yeah, when I have people sitting there saying that, well, GTA was on Xbox, I'm like, no. It was exclusive for PlayStation only. And then later on, in 2003 and 2004, they made it on Xbox. And you got Grand Theft Auto 3, and you got Vice City. So, I had already beaten GTA because I had a PlayStation. I had GTA on it, 3, and I wasn't too happy about it because when I got it, I just didn't know much about the game. I just ran around blowing stuff up, which everybody does, destroy stuff, and until I get bored of it and you think this is all it is, it's boring. So I gave it to my friend up the street, let him have it. He gave me a brand new pair of anti-clippers, which we traded for, and later on I was up there at his house watching him play the game. I was like, where the heck is all this happening from? Like, what mission is this? He said, man, didn't you play the game? I said, no, I just drove around and blew stuff. He said, no, you got to play the game, man. It's missions and all the time. It's fascinating. So I went up and bought the game again. Played it, fell in love with it, loved it on the PlayStation. And then later on, I switched over to an Xbox, and then found out I couldn't get the game on there. It's only exclusive for the PlayStation only. Yep. Later on, you'll got it. I have this conversation all the time with some of the people who've not been around long enough in that era to be playing games. They'll sit there and go, no, it's always on Xbox. No, crack a book. Please crack a book. Please crack a book. And there's other people on there laughing because other people know it didn't come on there. You guys didn't get it yet. If they decided to never and made it exclusive for the PlayStation, do you have any idea of how... Halo has a big fan base. It has a massive fan base. GTA, man. Come on, man. You're talking about GTA. If they made it for PlayStation, you would see a tilt automatically. If Rockstar decided to keep it with PlayStation, yeah, you would have more fanboys on the PlayStation than you would have on the Xbox. Even though Halo was epic, it was beautiful, it was amazing, GTA is in another class by itself. And I'm going to get Halo fanboys like, you don't even know. I was a Halo fanboy, I know. But GTA is a little different. It's a way different type of game. I was a big time Halo fan, got all the statues, all that stuff. Big time fan of Halo. As a matter of fact, I caught ammonia picking up a helmet. Talk about the sacrifice line right there. One got a helmet, they only had one left. I walked in the rain to go pick it up. Guy came out of the bank, jumped on the sub. When I came out of the sub on South Street, it was raining so hard you couldn't even see the concrete. I walked 5 blocks in cold weather And I was so soaking wet to the bone that when I got to the store to pull out my wallet, my money was wet. So I was soaking wet. And then by the time, mind you, summertime, when it rains a little bit, sometimes that rain can be chilly and cold, but there's still air conditioner on the freaking subway, which I took home. And when I took one, because I couldn't get in the cab, I was soaking wet. You know what I mean? So I took the sub. I mean, I was right around the corner from anyway, and the air conditioning, 6 subway stops away. By the time I got in the house, I wasn't feeling too good. And then the next day, I really felt like crap. And then the day after that, my mom was like, "You're sick. You're really, really sick." So I sat there looking at my helmet, brand new, in the box. They covered up in plastic so nothing would happen to it. And all I could do is basically hear people because my phone was connected to my Xbox. No, the phone was connected to Xbox. I had people that were texting me that were gaming. We're on our playing gaming. They're sending me screenshots and stuff. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And mind you, I'm still thinking you could put the helmet on because everybody thought you could wear the helmet. You can't wear the helmet. But anyway, so I'm sitting there. I can't wait. I'm gonna play Halo with my helmet on and this, that, and the other. So this went on for about 7 days. I was sick. When I finally came out of it and I had enough strength to play this game, I took apart and took out the box and found out it was just a stand. But still, at the end of the day, I didn't care. I got a chance to play Halo. And everybody's rank was through the roof because they first got into play. I wanted to get it in play, but I couldn't. I was sick. So there's my sacrifice line for that helmet. So every time I look at that helmet, I was like, yeah, you almost killed me at one point. But it was still worth it. It was definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Depends on how, I mean, some people look at it like, oh, you must be crazy. I remember one time I broke my hand. I broke my hand in a class in Taekwondo, breaking boards. And there's certain boards they allow you to break and certain ones you don't. But when you do dumb stuff like, bet people that you can smash this board with your hands and you know darn well you're not trained for it, you will break stuff. And that's what I did. I broke my hand. As a matter of fact, you can see where the finger's a little bit crooked. Where the skin laps over, I shattered the bone in this finger right here and in that one right there. I had to get surgery on that. But it was crazy because my hand was broken. I'm home playing Guitar Hero. My hands look like a boxing glove. And my brother comes in and says, you got to go to the hospital. Your hand is broken. I'm like, really? Is it? Because I didn't think it was broken. I thought it was a little swollen. So basically, I go to the hospital and they bring in a doctor and they stick a needle through my hand. They numb it. And I'm sitting up there talking about, come on, let's light this candle. Because I had Unreal Tournament coming to my door on the Xbox 360. Unreal Tournament. I had the faceplate and everything. I ordered the whole 9 yards. I had the faceplate, the whole 9 yards. I couldn't wait to get on and rumble on this game. And sure enough, I told the doctor, do me a favor, give me a robot hand, because that would be nice, or, because they do surgery, or please, if you put the cast on my hands, make it so I can grab the controller. Don't put it past the tip of my fingers. And I wake up, and guess what they did? It was past the tip of my fingers. I'm like, oh, crap. So, after dealing with a couple of days of all my friends and they're having a ball, I went downstairs in the basement and got one of my cutters that my brother had, and I basically modified my cast. So I cut the cast, which I could have taken off a finger, but it was worth the sacrifice because I'm a gamer, and removed the part of the cast all the way down to where the knuckle could bend better so I can grab my controller. And then, so the controller would fit perfectly right here, I actually grinded it down so it can actually fit in the controller. So I actually modified the cast so it would fit my controller perfectly. I could game. I still had the cast on, just modified it. So I went back to see the doctor. He said, what the freak did you do this? I modified it for the controller. I told you guys 2 things. Don't put the cast up too high, or give me a robot hand. Didn't get either one. So yeah. The woman was like, you're insane. I'm insane for my game. And mind you, that was console I did that too at the end of the day. So for those who sit there and say at the end of the day, oh, you're not console, more console than you will ever be. But yeah, there you go. PlayStation 2. But the nickel and dime era has been around for a while. It's been around since the Genesis. If you had the 32X, the Sega CD-ROM, and the Genesis, you went through the nickel and dime process. And that was an expensive nickel and dime process too. Because then they came up with the CD player, which didn't have a lot of games with it at all, period. To tell you the truth, the cartridges had more. And then they came with the 32X that you can stack on top of it. It was like working with Legos. It really was. It was nice. The thing I don't get, I never really seen the difference in the 32X. I don't know. I didn't see it. I looked down, I was like, this is supposed to be 32 bits. I don't see it, but I spent the money for it anyway. And if some people denied that it didn't never existed, I've literally heard people, even influencers, sit there and say that they never heard of the 32X. Are you kidding me? Really? Because I remember I had one. It was like a huge round circle shaped object that plugged right into your port. When you plugged in the CD player, it was a slot on the side of your system, and you pull it back. It had a little tiny cartridge slot in there, and you take the cartridge slot from the other side from the CD-ROM, and you slap them together and they lock in. Sega 32X. I don't sit there on camera and say, "Oh, I never heard of it exist." You can go to eBay and buy this thing. 32X did exist. So I don't even think that was even possible. It didn't even exist. You gotta learn to crack them books. Because, yeah, it did exist. You can literally go to eBay and buy one. This is the 32X. If you had the whole package, you was in there. Now, they had two different versions of the CD-ROM. They had the top loader and they had the one that would slide out. Top loader and the one that slide. The one that would slide was actually more money. Yeah, I remember buying one of those. I want the Wanamakers and got it. I got it from Wanamakers. No, it's a 32X. Came with Doom. They had Star Wars on it and some other games they had on it. And my buddy went out and got the 32X. No, he got the Atari Jaguar. No, I would say no. Neo Geo had big controllers. These controllers were gigantic, though. They were huge controllers. And you got to fight with your brother, and he took the cord and smacked you with one of these. There's a good chance you might not be coming back. These controllers were massive, and my buddy had one, and I still couldn't figure out what all those buttons were for. I didn't know whether I was playing the game or I was going to make a collect call. It was literally that big. I had a CD-ROM on the top of it too. Oh, no. It had the cartridge first. First it came with the cartridge, and later on it came with the CD-ROM at the top. Yeah, that's the CD-ROM port that came at the top. So like I said, it's kind of like when they took your CD-ROM off, they went backwards. They went back to the era where you didn't get CD-ROMs. Everything was cartridge at one point. And then later on, when they started converting over to CD-ROM, you got these adapter parts that would slap on your machine that would give you CD-ROM capability. Neo Geo had it, Atari Jaguar had it, TurboGrafx 16, they had a system you could slap on the back of it. Genesis had it. That's how far back they were doing that. And now your system today doesn't come with that particular piece. You would have to buy it. Same thing here. That's why I said they went backwards on the system. It went backwards on the system as if you're doing cartridge. Because then if you notice, after that era ended, right, with basically you had to buy that compartment, now every system came with a built-in ROM drive on it, or DVD, or how you want to put it. TurboGrafx 16 CD. That was the CD player for the TurboGrafx 16. And guess how much that thing cost? Well, hope you're holding on to your bootstraps. They were $400. So imagine, you paid $80. And when these things came out, they were $400. $400 to $500 is what they cost. That's what I said. I understand that some people want to complain about price, but you're really not paying much at all, I'll tell you the truth. Let's Google Challenger cells. Let's see when it came up. Let's see. TurboGrafx CD-ROM, how much was it? Was that right when I said 400? Do I know my stuff or do I know myself? $400 when it launched. You know why? Because I had something called TurboGrafx 16's Bonk's Adventure. Bonk's Adventure. I had it on the game and I had it in CD-ROM. You know what I had for the Sega? I had Sega CD, which was actually pretty good. It was really, really good. It was crisp. It was clear. It was amazing. Especially that one section when you're fighting the Eggman and you're underwater and you can hear him echoing the water like, oh, as he's descending on top of you. Oh, man, freaking amazing. It was definitely amazing. Tool Shark, on the other hand, sucked. That was a really bad game. That game sucked. This guy screaming and yelling, I'm just killing bugs in a tunnel. That's pretty much bad. But you got some guy screaming at you about not doing your job good enough. Yep, Sword Shark, I remember that. But yeah, that CD-ROM, man, this is right around the time where games are basically transferring over to CD-ROM and they're actually dropping cartridge. Whatchamacallit was supposed to come out with a CD-ROM, N64 with a CD-ROM, but it was made different. It was made like a cartridge, but it had a drive in it. It's really interesting. There it is right there. Did you know that you could go online on N64? Online on 64 had capabilities. Well, what it had basically, the Game Shark allowed you to go online. Now, Sega had something called SegaNet. When people talk to say, no, but Sega had, they said that the first online experience with not Xbox, but with Genesis was not the Genesis. Genesis didn't have it. It was Saturn. Saturn had it. Let me see. Saturn SegaNet. Yeah. SegaNet. No, Sega. Sega. Remember that when that came on with Sonic? Oh man, that brings back memories, don't it? And SegaNet. I think this roughly had a 14.4. You know how slow a 14.4 is? It's super slow. Super slow. But this right here is the SegaNet. Now, did I have one of these? No, I didn't buy one of these. This is a SegaNet. So that Sega Saturns had the ability to go online. But Genesis didn't. Alright, let me see. Let's go over to, they had the ability to go online. SegaNet. Gee, look at that. You got one of that. Amazon, they're $200 for that. $200. So they had the ability to go online. Let me see. N64 had to do Game Shark. N64 online. Let's go to the other one. No. N64 with the Game Shark modem adapter. There we go. So right here, this would allow you to basically surf the internet. Let me see if I can find one where someone's got one hooked up. They were going to do a wireless at one point, but again, it never took off. So let me see. HDMI converter. Game. Yeah, these would be rare. There it is. Someone's got one. They're rare. Not easy to find. There you go. So, that little piece right there is made by Game Shark. It was an adapter that you could fit over top of your controller that will allow your controller and your game system to go online. So yes, N64s had online capability. They did. But it didn't have any games. Oh no, they did have a game. They had Final Fantasy. They had that, Final Fantasy. There wasn't a lot, but I think they had Final Fantasy is one of them they can go online with. But yeah, Game Shark was online. With a dial-up. See? Right here. It was called Sharkwire Online. It was basically for the N64 with dial-up. Yep. Man, do I know? See, it's interesting when I get people go back and say, oh, you're not console. Again, I know more than you do at the end of the day. I was around when all this stuff came out. And again, my mother was a tech junkie. She bought us a lot of this stuff. She'd always come with like, guess what we got today? And I was like, oh, shoot. Always bringing something down. See right here, the media. Where it says media, this is that WikiLinks right here. Media is an N64 cartridge part. You can actually play. Look at it. 14.4. Told you. Yeah, it was way back. On $14.4, not 56K, not 56K times 2, 14.4. That's what SegaNet was pulling. That is super slow. My goodness, that's super slow. You could go to Japan, take a long trip, a 15-hour plane ride, and come back, and it's like it still be dialing like, you got mail. Gee, that's a slow speed. But at that particular time, it was super fast. Super fast. Super fast. But man, you played it today, you like, oh my goodness, like what the freak? Come back in, it's like it still be loading up. You go to sleep, that thing will still be loading up. I gotta buy one of those things to see how long it takes for the screen to load up on that thing. Go to sleep, come back from vacation, and it'll still be loading up. Next year when your birthday pop up, like, ding, you got mail. Things were super slow. Boy, I'm telling you, the Gen Z, what they don't know is the struggle. You know how easy you got it. I remember gaming on 56K back in the day. And if somebody picked up the phone, you went offline. That's how it worked. Just like that. Boom, went offline. Now I remember when Verizon and AT&T were bragging about how all the family members, especially gamers, can be online and game. As you talk on the phone, you can also game. You know, no more worrying about being disconnected. So that's when DSL came out. And that was the thing. You can be on DSL, high-speed connection. You can no more getting disconnected by playing video games or being on a computer. Because, man, that 56K, you don't even know. I be talking to my Gen Z family members. You don't even know the freaking struggles at the end of the day we had to go through. You be sitting in a good game, and somebody call or pick up a phone, and doop, you're offline that fast, that quick. Oh man, it was a pain in the butt getting on to begin with, because you had to go through that whole dial-up running guy with AOL and process at the same time. Like he's running a fax machine over there, man. I remember the cell phones that came with the antennas, not the cell phone antennas. They were the ones with the house phones with the antennas, the mini walkie-talkies that you can literally go outside and pick up someone's conversation of a baby monitor, or you got that when you had the phone that was connected to the wall. We had the rotary. I remember rotary phones. We had rotary phones when I was a kid. But I remember you get that long freaking cord. Oh, it starts off fun in all games when you have that long cord. But after a while, that thing turns into a huge, massive ball of other cords. And now you're lugging around this freaking mace as you're trying to make phone calls. Yeah, that didn't go well at all, period. You just ball up into this huge, massive ball of coil. And then when you pick up the phone, half you and the phone and everything else goes to the floor because you got this massive ball of coil underneath of you. Oh, I remember that. Or going to make a phone call in a freaking phone booth that literally smelled like pee all day long because the people were going there and they would pee in the booth. Sometimes you find all kinds of weird stuff in the booth. And then people got locked in booths before because the doors were shut and they would jam and you would get locked in these suckers. Oh man, that was, and God forbid you did not want to touch anything in there because God knows what went on in that booth. Everything felt sticky, dirty, greasy. Oh man, you just felt like you were just, it was nasty coming out of one of them. I'm surprised COVID didn't kick off at that particular time, because I'm not saying it's a good thing that COVID kicked off, but man, at that particular time, man, you walked in one of those phone booths, you were bound to catch something. They were nasty. People would sneeze on there, anything. They could do anything with the freaking phone receiver, and you put it up to your mouth. Yeah, people put it between their legs, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff with a phone booth. People would poop in those booths, all kinds of stuff. Oh man, it was a good time. Good times. They look at like, man, why would you? We had a choice. That's the way it was. You had to find a phone booth because you didn't have a portable phone. You had a pager. Your pager would go off. Your friends would call you. You had to find a phone booth somewhere to make the phone call. Now, when I was coming up, there were booths, and they changed them. Got rid of the booths and changed them over to regular phone there. Man, I remember it was to be a dime to make a phone call. Or you can call collect call. You make a collect call, And in order to make the call go through so the person would get it, you would say your name as in a way as what you're asking for. So you would say, collect call from, hey, I'm on a corner and I need a lift. And pretty much that's how you would get the call cost for free. And then you're paying for it. Now y'all got the cell phones at the end of the day. And y'all don't even understand the struggle behind the cell phone. Because I remember when the car phone come out. I wasn't around when the car phone came out. I'm pretty sure I wasn't born then. Let me see. When did the first car phone come out? 1946. Gee whiz, a waste. No, I was diving. I haven't even thought of. 1946. Sheesh. The first cellular phone was in 1983. Yeah, I remember those things. I remember I had the brick phone and I had the freaking I had the bag phone. The bag phone was wired and the brick phone was definitely not wired. Now that phone weighed 5 pounds. You complain about your cell phone's weight. The freaking bag phone was 5 pounds. That's the equivalent to a 5-pound bag of sugar. Imagine carrying that around your shoulders all day long. That was a heavy phone, but it didn't seem like it at the time. It seemed super lightweight. Because the reason why it was 5 pounds was a battery in it. It was a huge battery. And your cell phone, when you zipped out the bag, there was a huge box, and your phone connected on top of that, and you had a battery underneath of it. And talk about the charging time. Some people complain about the charging time for their phones. I remember charging time used to be like, how many hours? Like 8 hours or something? Hold on. What was charging time for a brick phone back in the day?
According to Wikipedia,
10 hours,
yeah. offered a talk time of just 30 minutes and took 10 hours to recharge. Commonly referred to as the brick, it was not commercially launched until October 1983, and only then in the U.S.
The brick. So the brick had a talk time of 30 minutes, and it took 10 hours to charge. I swear at the end of the day, when I hear Gen Z complaining, anybody that's not from this era, not just say Gen Z, because I'm not saying just them, but anybody from this era that wants to sit there and complain about your phone taking too long to charge, yeah, guess what? 30 minutes talk time, and it took 10 hours to charge. What you gonna do in 10 hours? The brick. And I think it was expensive too. It was $1,000 for that phone. You pay $1,000 for it today, but you're not paying $4 for income and outcoming minutes. Jeez, man. I had one of these things. I paid $1,000 for that phone at Strawberries and Clover. Back then, if you had a cell phone, you were labeled as several different things. Not the everyday Joe could afford one of those things at the end of the day. So either you were labeled as a doctor, a lawyer, one of them, or, sad to say, if you're African American, you were labeled as a drug dealer. Yep. And some people had the pager. Don't ask why. They did it. I'm gonna get you, sucker. It's funny, but it's true. Some people had the pager and the cell phone. Like today, y'all had the watch, and it's the same. It's the same scenario when you think about it. It's the same backwards craziness. We had pagers and cell phones. You guys had the watch, which is the cell phone, and the cell phone in your hand. Same thing. Same thing. Except for better technology. And the flip phones. I remember the flip phones came out. The sidekicks. I had all those. Earthlink's Wi-Fi phone was the worst phone in history. I had one of these. The worst phone in freaking history was Earthlink's Wi-Fi phone. Earthlink had all these receivers all over Philadelphia. You look up, there's little boxes all over the place. And they had this cell phone that they invested into that would give you Wi-Fi. A couple Wi-Fi phones came out. There's a whole one called Halo came up. Halo, I think it was H-E-L, something O. And yeah, they had one too. So it's supposed to be Wi-Fi phone. Free service, anywhere you want. You just pay a small little, not free service, you get a small little fee, and you got ranges anywhere in the city. They get different ranges and stuff. Those phones were trash. They were trash. They were never connected. They were always going to be, literally sound like you were actually pulling up a 56K modem on them. They were horrible. I had one. I had one by Earthlink. That thing was trash. I think I still have mine. It was trash. Don't believe the hype. Yeah, it was not. It was not what it was. It was not what it was. It was trash. The idea and the concept was pretty fascinating, but still, it was garbage. Oh man, yeah, that concept was horrible. I had one. That was the worst phone ever. You couldn't hear the people on the other side. They couldn't hear you on the other side with this constant. And anyway, I'm going to be going over to the store. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. The chirps. I hated them phones too. I couldn't stand the chirps. Next you know, you be sleeping, you could hear that, literally hear that chirp, like you got brainwashed by it. You could hear that sound going up. The chirps, technically, they're construction worker walkie-talkies. That's what they are. That's really what they were. And Motorola turned them into like some hype new, you know, the minutes were free. You know, the minutes were free. Minutes were almost free on it. They're real cheap because you know you didn't pay that much for it. But anyway, people had the chirps. They were talking back and forth like it's like a walkie-talkie. You press on it, say what you gotta say, release it. That's how it was. Well, we used to teach people had those things because I had a Ryzen. I signed up and got a Ryzen phone, and I had freaking gee, what's the bill for prepaid minutes? I think I was roughly paying somewhere between like $180. You get a certain amount of minutes you get for 180. They'll say they'll give you like something like 1,000 minutes or something. You kill 1,000 minutes just like that, no problem. It'll eat right through it. And in your phone, you can't call anymore once you're out of minutes. You got to refill. You got to go over to the cell phone store. You got to pay for more minutes and put it back on your phone. Who remembers that nonsense? Yep. Had to refill to put minutes on your phone. I had a Razor too. Never forget that, man. I ran out of minutes. I had to run around the store to put more minutes on the phone so I can talk. And you had to save your minutes. You had to be careful. You know what I mean? Maybe only for emergencies only. Give them to your kids. Like, look, only use this for emergency only because these minutes cost money. There's no way in the world you would be to stream on your phone and do any stuff you do today. If you're still paying for prepaid minutes, that's virtually impossible. But I had Ryzen, and I was paying them at first $160. And then I started paying them somewhere roughly between, I say, $260, $270 for unlimited minutes. So me and my sister both had a Ryzen phones. And every time somebody be chirping on their phone, we're like, somebody out of minutes! We became phone snobs. When that bill came, yeah, that bills were expensive, man. I didn't feel like no snob then when that bill came. Man, I was like, jeez, that's insane. I remember that paying for minutes. And then later on, when I was in the store, somebody was telling me about a company called Metro that was coming out, and they had unlimited minutes, unlimited talk time. I was like, wait a minute, I had a Metro phone when they first came out. It was a red flip phone when they first came out. It was like $100. Let me dig this up real quick. Metro retro flip phone. Oh, yeah. I bought a red one. Yeah. It was just like that. It was a red flip phone. I paid $110 for it. Had a little screen on the outside of it and everything. So I went over to Metro. This is before Metro had really good towers. Their towers were really trash at the time when it first started off. They weren't basically, they were using some other towers, but their towers were really, really bad. So I got Metro. I had unlimited. I didn't have to pay any bill or nothing. I could talk as much as I want. Didn't have to wait till, remember they had the promotion, you wait until after 12 o'clock and your minutes would drop and all that stuff they had, Sprint and all them. But anyway, I had unlimited minutes, but the problem was the signal was horrible too, and you couldn't really hear anything, you couldn't pick up. Heck, I was right in front of the store, I had one bar. How do you have one bar in front of the own store? So it was horrible, it was really, really bad, but again, you didn't have to pay for anything. You know what I mean, just pay for your plan, that's it. And then later on, when I had them, I heard somebody talking about another company out called Cricket. And Cricket had better towers than Metro, much better. So I switched over and got Cricket. And Cricket did have better towers. You couldn't go under the subway and make phone calls. Only a Verizon's would let you do that. A Verizon lets you go on the ground, make a phone call anywhere. As a matter of fact, if I lived out in the middle of somewhere, I would actually get a Verizon. It's going to pick up anywhere you're at. But especially the theme of the hype of basically having cell phones is being to talk in areas that other people can't go. So you're in the subway, you can whip out your phone to get phone calls because cell phones usually technically don't pick up on the subway. Only Verizon had that capability at one point. Before AT&T had it, before Sprint had it, T-Mobile, whatever, Verizon had it first. But Verizon was so expensive. But anyway, someone get a call, they whip out their phone, they're like, oh, that's freaking crazy. Like, how did you get in that call from the subway? Wow, what kind of plan you got? Oh, you got a Verizon? Wow, man, that's a good plan, man. They're expensive. I can't afford it. Verizon, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, because the Verizon was super expensive. It's super expensive now. And then later on, Metro and Richmond are using the AT&T towers, and you can pick up on the subway with the Metro and I think you probably need a Metro, but I know you can do it with the Cricket. Yep. Yep. Sorry about the yawn, people. Sorry about the yawn. The mini yawn in your face. My bad. We got air pushing through here. Wow. This case is so cool. There's so much air pushing around here. I can literally feel the air pushing through my case. That's good because that means the hard drive is getting cooled down. It's getting frosty. We can get a thermostat in there. We can see exactly where we at. I gotta get all this stuff managed. Wait, this is a conjunction box. Where's the controller at? This controller. Solid colors, solid blues. Put the bright lights up there. And the RGBs are those different colors to it. Ooh, I like that one that swirl through it. But yeah, I remember all that. All right, people. Hope you enjoyed. Gotta go. We're gonna be working on this more. I gotta get the cotton and everything for it to sort the thunder effect. I think we got it around here somewhere. We got some cotton here somewhere. Do we have cotton here? Oh, here comes Peter Cottontail, walking down the bunny trail. Hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. Oh shoot. Yes, we have acquired cotton. Alright, I'm gonna start working on Thundercloud because I want to check that out. Get that thing up and going. Alright, people, gotta go. Thank you for your time. Yeah, sale ends Monday. So Black Friday sale ends Monday. Actually, not end of Monday. Actually, like more like Tuesday, because again, you get Cyber Monday. But anyway, thank you so much for those of you who purchase products from our company. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I am going to start matching Twitch. I'm going to see some family. Gotta go. Thank you all, and God bless.